Yo, 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 yo. Welcome. This is the 28th live stream. Thank you for tuning in. We have about 9 submissions right now. You can still submit if you like. The Discord link is in the description. Join the community. Submit your track in hashtag live WIP feedback. Now we're going to go over mix down, sound design, song arrangement, everything that's good. We're going to see if you have a banger. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. I have lots of these in the past that have tips. I have lots of videos that have tips. Let's get into it. First submission is called Static by C80. This is the cover. Let's get into it. Nice. Vibing. Let's go. Give it up. Dripment. Hey, we're coming in straight with some vibes in the morning, loving it. Mixdown sounded clean, honestly. And we're coming at like -6 lefts. This is perfect volume level for a song like this. And it really just, it took me to a different place, you know. I wasn't really listening as a producer so much because I got lost in the sound. Everything sounded harmonious. I liked it. Very cool vibes. If you wanted to take this to the next level, you can have like a vocal phrase that's really washed out in reverb and delay, really just leading the whole song. That would add more emotion and be sick. This is good. Like it a lot. Good drums, good mix down, nice rhythms, good use of the stereo build. Well, sick. Pretty clean, pretty clean. Up next, we got Mipsy coming in with Wake Up T1. Check out this beautiful cover. Super groovy. Luscious psychedelic. Let's get it.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen, everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found as well. Listen, as long as there is a concept of victors, the vanquished will also exist. This dick is nuts. Check this. Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen, everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found.
Where's that vocal from? That's pretty cool. Definitely unique. I really like that vocal. Sounded super clean in the mix. Brought a lot of energy. The intro, I think, needs like some more sub. You know, it's very empty with just the drums. If you had some sick sub bass, make it feel darker, and add sub bass on the build up, that'd be sick. In this drop, it sounds almost lower volume than what was playing before it. Just make sure that this sounds louder, sounds more intense, and it's the climax, which should definitely be the loudest part of the composition. With this section too, the sub is playing constantly. There's really not a break from the sub. I would incorporate silence with the sub to add dynamics and add rhythm and movement with your sub. That's really important. And then in these sections, like, it'll go from -8 lefts, which is fairly quiet. It's fine. But when we go straight to like -4 lefts, it's very loud and it's too harsh of a dynamic shift. So you really want to balance this out and make this a little quieter to match the levels of what was playing previously. And then over here, the timing of the build-up. So like when the vocal starts looping and repeating, the timing isn't perfect. So when we get to the drop, the rhythm and timing seems off, and the drop doesn't hit as hard as it could have if the timing was perfect. Just make sure that using your grid and getting the timing perfect. And if you're using fake outs, the timing has to be perfect with the fake outs too. So other than that, I think this is really cool, super unique, dope atmospheres and soundscapes that you create. Your use of reverb with all the effects and stuff during the drop, and you're making the sub like the main element front and center. Really cool, very psychedelic. I like it. Keep doing stuff like this. Just fix all that, man, and it'll sound a lot more professional. Good job. Up next, we got Derailed by Anthrax. Let's get it done. He said, a little messy, but a new style I'd like to show y'all. Okay, let's go. Hold on. Ooh, that was pretty spicy. I must say. That's cool. Check out this album art. Simple derailment. You know what happens. Happens in the city. Happening in Ohio. It's going down. You know what, man? This is a perfect explanation of the havoc of a derailment. I must say the mix is clean. You know, you're able to get nice gain. It's nice and loud at -5. And I don't hear like heavy amounts of distortion or extra mud. You know, everything's clean. And most importantly, you're keeping the phrases moving. There's a lot of differences and variations, a lot of ear candy and cool stuff that's happening while the sustains play. You're really keeping the listener engaged, and it kept me engaged. You got me lost in the sound. I like it a lot. There's a lot of rhythm and bounce in this too, and the sub is nice and fat. You can feel the sub in your chest. So these are all really good things. The only thing it's really missing are like vocals, you know? It sounds if there was vocals, right, you can kind of make it a theme, kind of theme it out and make it more, you know, based on a derailment situation or something. I don't know, just you want to make it more artistic with using vocals as an instrument or using vocals as fills or pre-drops or phrases, ad libs, stuff like that. You know, something very minimal will make a big difference. So keep those things in mind. Just remember, like like a pre-drop that's really rememberable. You should always remember that. Go back. That's kind of a reason why people love certain songs. So find some spicy candy and put it in the song. Take it to the next level. That'd be even dope. Dope. Good job. Okay, so next we have Elusis with Screwing Round. .mp3. No SoundCloud link. Please submit SoundCloud links in the future. Okay, get it done.
This is Shop Class. My name is Mr. Adler. For the next week, rather than your normal schoolwork, you will be learning how to make things. Now let me make one thing crystal clear. I don't like kids that screw around. Hey, don't screw around.
Switch.
Okay. All right. I see what you're trying to do there. Now, there's a couple things that are wrong with this. Now, the energy. So if you can visually see, there's more like information here. It's loud. It's a lot louder than the actual drop. So that is a big problem right away because you're building like energy levels and stuff. But when we get to the climax, it's like lower energy. It's like, small drop, tiny drop. So that's a big problem. One of the main reasons why the drop doesn't hit hard as well is because the main bass that's playing is kind of just thrown at you right away. There's not call and response. You really want to have a downbeat bass, like an introduction bass, that will play, and then a little bit of time will go on, and then you have the response happen, and you go back and forth, the call and response, and that creates movement and rhythm and makes things danceable. Without that, you can't really dance to this. It's just sounds, and that's a big issue. When we are in this section, we have like, you'll hear like a Reese bass playing. So this thing's very static, right? It's not really moving. You can have filters move with it. It could be shifting in different directions and stuff. And you could do that to add basically more movement in the intro section. The intro sounds very basic right now. Same needs to happen during this section when it gets forward to the floor. And overall, the mix is at like -11 LUFS, so it needs to be a lot louder. You want to use glue compression and saturation and regular compression, as well as limiters, to make your mix down loud. And if you bus everything, it'll sound a lot cleaner as well. So you can watch like my template video and stuff if you need help with any of that, but I really recommend doing all that so that you can get that thing sounding higher energy and get people dancing. Okay, so let's see. We have the next song, which is from Ruby. It's called Bust Out. We're going to get it done. What a one time. Bust out. Bust out. Hey, let's get it. Bust out. 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 Okay, cool. All right, so with this song, you know, kind of all over the place. With the arrangement and everything, it sounds like there's not really too much song structure going on. And that's a problem because you don't really know where it's going, how it's progressing. When your phrases are structured in specific patterns, then the listener kind of knows what to expect next. And then if you surprise them in that next phrase, that's kind of like what we're going for, right? Keep dancing, keep surprising them. But we can't just go on like random tangents all over the place. And that kind of is what it sounds like. In certain sections, we have a lot of frequencies clashing. So a lot of the same frequencies are being played, but you're not EQing anything to turn these frequencies down so that it's easy on our ears. You're reaching like -6 left, so it's pretty loud, but it's not clean gain. It's harsh gain. And you automatically want to turn it down instead of turn it up. So that's an issue. There's a Fletcher-Munson curve preset for the Pro Q3 and the regular EQ8. You can use that to turn down the harsh frequencies. It'll help a lot. Sections like this, there's not even lows, like subs. Like, that's a big issue. There shouldn't be any sections where basses are playing and there's no sub frequencies to support them. Unless it's like a fake out or something, but this doesn't feel like a fake out. It feels like another phrase is just missing the sub. I definitely want to fix things like that. And then over here, same thing going on. The sustains are playing, lots of clashing going on. You just want to make sure that you clean up your frequencies and get a clean mix. Because when you make it loud, it starts to become very harsh on the ears. You got to clean everything as you go. Oh yeah, and at the beginning, a very small kick, no sub. Very anticlimactical. You want to make sure that there's a fat kick, maybe a little bit of side chain to make it pop out, and then a sub to match it, just so that we can transition smoothly with energy to the build up and then drop. All right, cool. Nice. All right, so next we have Yuck with Genocide. Check out the cover art. Looks like it's school time. Looks like got an award, maybe a certificate of perfect attendance. Let's get it done. Oh yeah, let that fade out, boy. Okay, this pretty good. I like this. Cool vibes, sick emotion, nice vocals, sick chords. Honestly, these super saws at the beginning sound even spooky. The way they're detuned, like eerie almost, and I love that. Very good. The build timing though, right here, off. It really messes up the energy. You have a perfect build timing right here. But like here, like that is just off. It sounds super robotic and may not be the perfect timing. So like you can use that build timing and then adjust from there. But because that's just make it sound a lot more professional. Anyways, in the drop. You guys hear there's a lot of really nice crispy high end and mids, and we don't hear a lot of mud at all. Actually, any mud. It sounds clean. This is good. But the only thing we don't hear or feel is the sub, which is the most important part. And it's sad because you can definitely tell there's a difference in the level of sub, like sub bass, compared to the extreme loudness and levels of the mid bass. You have to balance these things. Leave those loudnesses, because that's good. We were coming in at like -5, -6. So as soon as that sub gets louder, we'll probably be at like -4, and we'll be at like really good lufts. All makes sense. But that sub just needs to be a lot louder, heavier, more distorted. Actually, don't even distort it. Just use saturation. Like use a saturator and give it clean distortion that way. Clean saturation is so nice. So I definitely do that to make that sub match what's going on here, because the intensity of the drop is lowered because the sub is just not there, man. And then when we get to this is a super sick section. Very emotional, very high energy, but the snare is just so weak and small compared to the absolute mayhem of a super saw stack that we got going on here. So just readjust that snare, layer it, make sure you tune it. I just made a video called Snare Theory 101. So watch that so you can learn fundamentals of making and layering the perfect snare. And then you can just, slap that boy in here. We'll be good to go. Otherwise, I like this song. Good job. Nicely done. Okay. Who's next? We got Flipper coming in with fixes sub there dot ALP. You literally just said you're still, or that feels like a big fuck you. Yeah, come waste your time with me. I guess until you feel better, like a fuck off, whatever. Clearly, we got a whole breakup going on in this cover. So I think high energy, high emotion. Let's get it. Oh shit.
It's high noon.
Hey. That's pretty cool, man. Pretty clean. Use of dynamics, you're going from sub and then these quiet sections and you go back to loudness. That makes a huge difference. I love this. Love that dynamic shift that you did there. So that's good.
Noon.
But big issue. There's no call and response. So like you see here, we get like
it's high
pre-drop.
Noon.
It just gets thrown in straight to the response. There's not like an introduction call here. There should be a bass, and then and then you go back to the and then you like move back and forth between the call and response. The only variations you're adding is changing like the rhythm and rate, but that's just not enough. It doesn't make it danceable. It really just sounds like noise and sounds rather than making actual movement and making us dance on the dance floor. So A call and response, extremely important. Make sure you do that. I have videos on that too. But not bad. Pretty cool idea. I just make sure you add more to that build more tension. That's a weak riser. Cool. All right. Up next, we have the one and only Am I Dead? Otherwise known as Am I Asleep? Submitting Holy Shit. Holy shit indeed. Let's check it out. Hold on. Okay, that was sounding like church choirs, orchestrals. Very nice, very cool. Okay, I gotta say, right away, there's energy in this. The call and response is there, but right away you can tell that the dynamics are not there. Like the dynamics of the whole song. When we zoom out, you can actually see visually the song is bricking. Like look at this right here. It's almost completely bricked. And this is an issue because what's happening is when the song starts, it sounds like the whole song is the same volume. It sounds like the whole song is really loud and there's not any differences between loudness and softness and quiet. So because of that, our ears get really used to all the loudness, and the drop doesn't sound as impactful as it actually should, because the intro is just, it sounds overcompressed. It sounds, it looks overcompressed. You'll definitely have to look into your compressor settings and limiters and clippers and make sure that they're doing everything properly, because that's kind of what it's looking like going on here. Also, during the drop, oh my gosh, the kick is like lost in the mix almost. It sounds very weak and low intensity compared to everything else that's playing. Check it here. Like this kick right here. You hear that kick? That kick is fatter than this kick. So we got this kick and this one. I mean this. So basically, we need this kick to like really stand out in the mix compared to everything that's going on around it. Sidechain, extremely important. Sidechain settings, and then also just sound choice of the kick, and make sure this kick is tuned into the actual scale. And then you can add a little bit of glue compression to just pump it up, add some beef, and really make it stand out. That needs to be done. And then in sections like this, because in the whole drop, we're using the bouncy, like stompy stone level sub type deal. But when you do that the whole drop, you know, it gets tiring. So you want to switch it up and do that stompy sub, but also have the sub match the rhythm of the bass. So like in these sections, like bum 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 bum, the sub should be doing exactly what these are doing, and it would add so much more impact and craziness. Yeah, but most importantly, you got to fix the dynamics to make sure that this doesn't sound like just one big squashed brick. That's kind of what it's sounding like right now. We've lost the dynamics. Got to dial the compression back and make sure that you're not focused on getting it loud, but focus on getting it clean. And then slowly start to introduce loudness and check your loves, dog. Okay, the show. Next, we have Tarnished Snasta. Let's get it done.
I do solemnly swear to every living being and every living soul, now cometh the age of the stars. 1,000 years away to interfere, blood, and loneliness. Well then, shall we?
Hey. That's pretty sick. Pretty dope. Pretty dope, man. I always know when Snas to submit something, it's gonna be pretty sick. And you know what? This was pretty sick. This section got me twisty. Oh. Sorry. When that started playing, I didn't even know where I was. I just went to space. Okay, so when the drop comes, we have some sick rhythms, sick flows. The mix down sounds pretty clean. It's loud enough. If we look at the... Holy shit. If you look at the imagery, the basses are pretty mono, and the clap is like wide. So you definitely want to parallel process your basses so that first they get louder, because they're like the response, it sounds low volume. The call sounds really loud. It's like in the mono and wide. But then when the response comes, it's like low volume. And as you see visually, it's only appearing in the middle. You want to parallel process it so we keep that middle signal, but also introduce a wide signal to blend in with it, that we have an ultimate signal of awesomeness to present to the audience. And that will basically make it fit in the mix as well, because right now it sounds like it's kind of hiding behind everything with the lower volume. This is happening as well during this second drop. Like there's a wide dun 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 dun, and then the sustain in the middle, but the sustain is like low volume, so you want to make sure that you parallel process that boy too. Get it loud, get it clean, easy, easy. Otherwise, it's pretty dope. Good job. Thick. Up next, we have Sheesh. Wait. Oh, Sheesh is this one. This one has to go after Dizzy. All Omen. Okay, we're gonna put it right there. Okay. So next we have Cacti Lab Smileys Rough Draft. And it looks like this right here. The homies right here. Get it done. right, for sure. Okay, cool. So that was Rough Draft, Cacti Smileys. We got some future bass going on here. We got some nice vibes. We got Serenity right out the gate, which is cool. We got a good vocal that sounds in key and tuned to what's going on with the song. So that's really important, and I'm glad that's done. But we have some major issues that are happening right away. So as soon as the song starts, we're at negative 22 LUFS, which is just extremely quiet. Just so you guys know, the standard for music recording loudness levels is negative 14 LUFS. So anything that you make should be at least negative 14 LUFS in volume. That's like if you were listening to like some regular gospel song or something like on the radio, like they're hitting negative 14 LUFS after the song's been mastered. So you don't need to send your song to a mastering engineer. You have all the tools in your DAW to master the song yourself. So what you do is just simply add glue compression, regular compression, and saturation to these sections and make them louder. Keep in mind when you do this to reverb, the space will become bigger, so you have to control the reverb space as you do this. You need to reach at least negative 14 in these very quiet sections. It starts to get louder here, so that's good. The thing is, though, is that you have a Reese bass playing and you have some chords playing with a vocal, but there's not enough chords. You really want to stack different chord instruments like keyboards, pads, different keyboards, and really just make a soundscape with the chords so that those vocals can sit and live within. Because there's a huge potential to just gain lots of emotion here, and you should do that. In the drop in this section, you have really nice chord stacks, good energy, good emotion. The only thing is that they're not loud enough. So, like I said earlier, negative 14 is like minimum. Right now, this is pulling in negative 12 LUFS. For a future bass song that's very quiet, if you play this next to like an Millennium song or like a Seven Lion song, you'll see there's a huge difference in volume. And because of that, there's a huge difference in energy when you play it live. So that's has to be fixed right away. Anyone that has a trained ear would be able to tell that difference. So when the drop happens, there's a lot of chords being played, supersaws being played, nice stacks, but you need to have like a top lead melody playing on top of these chords so that it progresses the phrases. Because the chord stacks only sounds good for the first 8 bars. When you keep playing it, it just starts to sound old. So you need like a top lead to keep the song progressing and keep the emotion and energy going. A great example is R.L. Grimes' Formula song. He has like a future bass drop and there's a sick top lead. There's like 3 layers in that top lead. It's like a vocal lead with a synth lead. And that's really creating this emotional vibe, because without that, it sounds very, very bare bones and basic. And yeah, in the last drop too, this is the dubstep section. This is at negative 13 LUFS. So this should be a lot louder as well. And you need to make sure you're doing call and response, because it's really just a response. It's not really danceable.
Get it.
Get it. So it's at that pattern the whole time. There needs to be like a downbeat playing like boom, 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 boom. Something to add movement and variation so that we can move between the phrases seamlessly. That's it. That's it. Otherwise, solid idea. I would definitely keep running with that. Okay, next song we have is by Helosphere. This is called Threat V3. Cover art here. Let's get it done. And that is Sphere coming in hot with Threat version 3. We got some high intensity, high energy, and it's very loud. There's a couple of things that we definitely need to work on and that we're going to go over right now. Overall, this is solid. Okay, so first, and I think most important thing is there's really, like, in a similar song earlier, the mids and highs are very intense, very loud, pretty clean. We need to make sure that they're a little bit cleaner though, because there's a lot of clashing frequencies. As soon as the sustain starts to play with the other basses, it seems like there's not enough EQ going on. So it becomes very harsh, very intense on the ears, and it doesn't sound as clean as it should be. So you want to fix that in the mid to high range first. But then the low range, if you listen, there's not much lows that you can feel when it's in the full mix. You can feel it in the back, and you can kind of feel it pitch bending up and down. But this is bass music. This sub should be really front and center with those mid basses that are being played as well. You want to use a sine wave and just boost it. Like, just boost it, low pass it, and then add more saturation to that low pass sine wave, and you'll get the type of sub that you're looking for. Super fat, super clean, thick, with enough saturation and distortion to match the energy of what's going on here. So as the drop progresses and as things start to change phrases, the sustain really stays the same frequency, and it's playing. So like you hear, it's kind of changing tones a little bit here. So that's good. That's some variation. But really, you want to make it sound even more different, because it still sounds too similar to this one. So our ears kind of perceive it as the same. And on top of that, the sustain is playing throughout this whole section. So our ears get really used to the sustain playing every phrase. If you go from sustain to no sustain, back to the sussy, then it would create a really good dynamic shift and make it more danceable. You also are playing the same tone of like the main route, like the choppy bass. It's the same tone, the whole thing. So you really want to start adding variation with that bass as well. Add small variations to each of the basses and each of the phrases so that it makes a big difference over time. They all need to be a little bit different, and use the Fletcher-Munson curve to remove some of those clashing frequencies. In this section, you have actual call and response going on here, compared to this section where there's not too much call and response going on. You really just throw us straight into the sustain. We need more of a call and response like you did in this section. So the call is like this glitchy section. The sustain, get back. The sustain, go back to it. Like, that's what creates movement and danceable. That's what I keep talking about, call and response. This needs to be implemented in your first drop to really make it feel like you want it to feel. Because right now you think it's too repetitive, and that's the reason why. Cool. Thank you for the donation, by the way. You're dope. Alrighty. Nick, he got dizzy with Fail Omen version 1. Get it done.
Tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring.
Holy shit. Oh my gosh.
Put these foolish ambitions to rest.
Oh my god, dude. What the heck are you trying to do? Blow our ears out? Ow, man. Alright. I mean, as you guys probably know, we have to turn this down right away to even like. Okay. This isn't what you consider like danceable music. This is just noise because the way it's mixed is you're just slamming everything. And it's very, very harsh. Extremely harsh. And got to make sure that you focus on getting your things clean first before you get them loud. Hitting -2 decibels is in no way a flex at all. It damages your ears. Regular music, like I said, is like -14 lefts. Regular loud dubstep is like -6, -5 lefts. We're pushing the limits of sound, getting it to -3 lefts. The only reason you should be up there is if you sound super clean. So dial everything back and make sure that your sub is playing at a correct note. The sub sounds like it's so high in pitch and it's not low enough. Like if you're playing in G minor and your root note is G, and you're using that G note for your sub, that's too high of a note. You have to be at like F or D or E. Even C sharp is like the lowest you can go. The reason we use those keys is because they have the best sub notes for their root note. Yeah, I would definitely recommend looking into that, doing things like that. Make your songs cleaner, and yeah, don't damage people's hearing. Surprised your ears aren't blown. Probably because you're not using headphones. If you were using headphones, you would hear it's very crowded. Everything's clashing. There's no dynamics. And then the timing is very off on these build-ups here. Like these fake out, that's a super long fake out, too long. Super long build, too long. Throw in reference tracks and start composing your songs professionally and make sure that your timing is on point. Reference tracks will help you. When we're DJing and stuff, we can't just have some random build-up play like this in the middle of the song. You know, that'll ruin the energy. You have to keep this in mind. We're going to be DJing these songs. We're going to be playing them out live. So they have to be danceable. They have to be transitionable. So work on those things and they'll be fire. Up next, we have Sheesh by Alpha J. Get it? Submitted to
VIP.
pretty cool. You got a decent sub in here. Got this distorted hall sub going on. But that lead is just so like, not it. Like maybe if you were like to switch between this high pitched lead and then like a mid bassy and then like go back and forth, that'd be sick. But you're playing it the whole thing and it just becomes super annoying, really. It sounds like an old trap synth lead that used to play in 2013, 14. And they've made a billion of those leads and they just sound old. So I would definitely try to make that lead more unique. But good drums, good sub. Nice energy. I'd like to see. What loves are coming in here? This is a good leafage. Doesn't sound too harsh or muddy, so that's good. All right, cool. Next, we got a night in a hotel room by Amuleto. Let's get it done. I like it. I like this cover art. This is sick. And I like the track name. Right away, my attention has been grabbed. Thanks there, build up. Alright, cool. That was Night in a Hotel Room by Amuleto. Okay. So I like that. I like your tearout direction that you're going here. I enjoy that. The pan snare build. Yummy. But as soon as we get to the drop, it becomes a mud explosion. A mud adventure, I may say. What do I mean by this? I mean that there's a lot of frequency buildup from 100 hertz to 400 hertz. There's multiple sounds being played, and all of them need to be EQ'd in a way where you're removing the lows and also making a nice big dip in that mud range so that things can like live. You really can't stack too many frequencies in that range and you cannot stack any frequencies in the lows, like 100 and below. We can only have one thing, and that's the sub. No stacking. When we get to 100 to 400 hertz, very minimal stacking. Then when we get like 500 hertz and above, you got to just, you can definitely stack. You just got to EQ everything to make things clean. And keep in mind, there's a stereo field. So there's things in the middle, things on the side. You have to make sure that you put some things in the middle, some things on the side, and some things will be in the middle and the side. And you kind of have to control the stereo image that way. When you do that, you open up space for sounds and you make your mix sound cleaner. That needs to be done during your drop. And the mud needs to be fixed during your drop. And if you listen to it, it sounds very band passy. So it almost sounds like we're not hearing enough high frequencies. You got to make sure that your EQs are not removing all those bright high frequencies. We can stack a lot of those frequencies, so let them shine and definitely let them play through. The flow in the second drop, I think, is a lot better than the first drop. Very cool. And then lastly, just make sure you do keep in mind dynamics is important. Utilize silence so that we can go back between super loud to silent, back to super loud. That creates intense dynamic shifts. Keeps things moving. All right, cool. Good theme. Good theme, by the way. Up next, we have Saya with Master Skrill. This shout out to Master Skrillex. The world may never know. I guess the world knows. Oh, shit. I've been listening to a lot of Skrillex and Fortet. And Fred again lately. It's been my vibe. I'm already feeling it right now. Let's get it. Cool. All right, we got a lot going on here. A lot of nice skrilly vocal vibes at the beginning. We got some side trance at the end. Cool vibes. Okay. So I really like the intro. Good energy buildup. Very nice. When we get to the drop, though, this is where we start to notice some weirdness. Now, there's a weird, like, it's a stamp that sounds very small, very weak. The sub as well is very weak. It's not high intensity. It almost sounds like it's pitching up and it's not really hitting us in the chest like it should. Very high pitched sub. It just doesn't feel normal. The main bass lead, down, 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 down. It sounds very basic, very thin almost, not thick enough. It needs to have supporting basses. You can layer this bass with other basses that share different frequency ranges, like lower mid frequencies, because this one is like higher frequencies. So you kind of want to layer two basses to create one full bass. And when we get to this section, you can really notice problems with the mix because the hi-hat is starting to sound more intense and at a higher volume than the actual bass lead, which is just odd. Like even this bass is so low volume and the hi-hat is just so loud. Like just these need to be compressed and saturated so that they are front and center in the mix. That hi-hat should be supporting the basses, not taking over the mix. One small hi-hat should definitely not be taking over some big basses. And then over here, this is cool. This is a cool idea. This though, this fake out's too long. It doesn't really make sense. It feels empty because it's just sub, no kick. Doesn't feel normal at the timing it's at. This is cool, this switch up. But the main side trance bass is just very small, very weak, very thin. That needs to be beefed up. Just Google how to make side trance bass, and you'll figure out how to make some sick side trance basses. But yeah, not too bad. Sick idea. Up next, we have Komodo Aku with Bliss Master number 2. Let's get it done.
You will soon die. Prepare yourself for the coming of the end. It will all be over soon. No more pain. No more suffering. No more regret. Just a blissful ending to your miserable life. Prepare yourself for the coming of the end.
Listen.
Take one.
Hang on. We're nearly there. The wait is almost over.
Okay.
Goodbye.
that is the last submission of the day. That was some good vibes for the outro. I gotta say, we are rolling. You have some nice, you got a good idea here. The beginning of the drop, actually, I should say before the drop, during the build, the timing of the build is kind of off. So it doesn't make the drop hit as hard as it should. If the timing was perfect with the drums build up, then this would make a lot more sense. This fake out would then lead and transition to this a lot better. With this fake out, when it starts, it's actually, there's a bass that's playing with it, but it's very thin. You can kind of feel and hear that the sub is louder than the bass. Just make sure you layer that bass, get it nice and thick and fat so that it's like a sick introduction. Nice fake out.
Listen.
Right here, you kind of have a call, right? Kind of have a call and response going on here. But as you see, it's like not as impactful as it should. It's kind of just like a synth lead. You can add more dynamics by utilizing more silence and stuff. And that would create more impactfulness here. The kick too sounds very odd in the mix. Make sure that your sidechain is dialed in really well and just focus on call and response and kind of making each call and response different while controlling the mud. It seems a bit crowded, especially in sections like this. Lots of sounds being played, not enough EQ, so make sure that you EQ all the mud from 100 to 400 hertz and just be fully aware of everything that you're layering together. You can get a cleaner mix, because right now it's sounding kind of crowded, kind of harsh in some sections. And then in sections like this, it's just pretty empty. You could add more like rhythmic elements to make things more movable and danceable. It'll be really helpful in any sections that seem empty. But otherwise, pretty good, man. Good job. You guys are dope. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. You can submit your songs for next week's live stream. Join the Discord if you want to hang out with the community. We're in the voice channels all the time, just chilling, helping people make music. And then I'm going to start some new live streams, kind of like audio combat live streams. I'm going to put a sample up. We're going to flip that sample live. I'll do one. You guys do one. You submit it. We'll listen to them at the end. It'll be a cool little thing that'll be happening on Sundays. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day. Peace out. Stay fresh. Later. Peace.